How has the Council of Trent shaped the course of church history? And what was the role of the Jesuits in this pivotal event? This question takes us back to the 16th century, when Pope Paul III, seeing the Reformation as an impending threat to Catholicism, called for the Council of Trent. The Jesuits, acting as the Pope's theologians, played a significant role. Their dominance in the Council is a key characteristic we must bear in mind when studying this assembly. Pope Paul III's strategic manipulation of the program and the attendance of the delegates ensured that the Jesuitical conception of a theocratic papacy was incorporated into the Church's canons. This move was a clever stroke of policy, entrusting the papacy's cause to the Jesuits and setting the stage for what was to come. It was the Jesuits' dominance that marked this council, setting the stage for the discussions to follow. Opening. Why were the scriptures the first point of contention at the Council of Trent? Diving straight into the heart of the Council's discussion, we find 4 propositions related to the scriptures, all of which were drawn directly from the writings of Martin Luther. In a bold move, these propositions were placed in the spotlight, marking the beginning of a profound debate that would shape the future of the Christian faith. The first proposition postulated that Holy Scriptures alone contained all things necessary for salvation, dismissing the equal importance of apostolic tradition. The second called into question the canonical status of certain books in the Vulgate. The third proposition emphasized the need to study the Scripture in its original languages, casting doubt on the accuracy of the Vulgate. Lastly, the fourth proposition declared that the Scripture's meaning was clear and could be understood without commentary, with the guidance of Christ's Spirit. Closing. The acceptance of these propositions defined Protestantism, while their rejection became the cornerstone of papal theology. What were the decisions made by the Council that have shaped the course of the Church? Let's delve into the key condemnations made. The Council of Trent, significantly guided by the Jesuits, came to 4 main decisions that have had a profound impact on the course of the Church. First, they condemned the proposition that the Holy Scriptures contained all things necessary for salvation, rejecting the idea that it was impious to place apostolic tradition on a level with Scripture. This decision underscored the Church's belief in the value of tradition, placing it on an equal footing with the Scriptures. Second, they disputed the claim that certain books accepted as canonical in the Vulgate were apocryphal and not canonical. By doing so, the Council affirmed the status of these apocryphal books as being as much Scripture as the other books. Third, they refuted the assertion that Scripture must be studied in the original languages and that there were errors in the Vulgate. This decision reinforced the understanding and acceptance of the Vulgate as the authoritative text. Lastly, they denounced the notion that the meaning of Scripture is plain and that it can be understood without commentary with the help of Christ's Spirit. This solidified the Church's stance that the interpretation of the Scriptures was a privilege reserved for the clergy. These decisions were instrumental in shaping the theology and practices of the Catholic Church. What was the impact of the Council of Trent's decisions on the future of the Church? This question leads us into the aftermath of the Council, a period of significant change and consolidation. The council's decisions, rather than meeting the charges of the reformers head-on, sought to solidify the papacy's standing. Over the course of 18 years, the papacy strategically consolidated its power and territory, capitalizing on the council's proceedings. The Church of Rome mustered her remaining forces, taking a firm stance on tradition and scriptures. The council, under the sway of the Jesuits, had established a theocratic papacy that was deeply entrenched in the canons of the Church. The long-term effects of these decisions were profound. The papacy, having reinforced its authority and expanded its territories, emerged stronger. The Church's stance on tradition and scriptures took a definitive turn. It was decided that tradition held equal value with the scriptures. The 7 apocryphal books of the Vulgate were deemed as much a part of Scripture as the other books. The readings of the Vulgate that varied from the Greek were no longer seen as errors, but as authentic. Finally, it was ruled that lay members of the Church could not interpret the Scriptures independently of the clergy. The Council of Trent, under the influence of the Jesuits, not only responded to the Reformation, but also set the theological and institutional course for the Catholic Church. The Council's decisions still resonate today, shaping the theology and practices of the Church.